Hello kids, glad to have you and glad to see you today. Today we're going to be learning about a king and how he is chosen, the first king of Israel. But first, let's look at some characteristics of a king. And as you can see, I have three pictures. One is of a picture of King George, and he was a king during the time of the American Revolution. And he was trying to rule over the colonies. So I gave him the characteristic of ruler. And then you're all familiar with the Lion King. And what came to mind when I saw the lion and when I picture a lion is power and bravery. And then the final picture is a picture of King Arthur. And during King Arthur's time, I considered him to be a wise king and also an honorable king. He tried to do the right thing. So those are just a few characteristics of kings. Maybe you could be thinking of some of your own. But let's get into today's story. So we had the Israelites, as you can see in the picture. They look kind of angry, and I'll tell you why in a minute. And they lived in the land of Canaan, and they were basically farmers and sheep herders, and that kind of had that kind of lifestyle. And they were getting tired of judges ruling over them. And actually, the judges really didn't rule over them. They just tried to tell them the right things to do that God wanted them to do. But they wanted to say no to judges because they wanted a king to rule over them, like other nations. As you can see in the top, you have the nation of Greece, and you have them in the bottom with the figure, the Egyptian guy. They wanted to be like those other nations and have a king too. He gave the people a warning. And the warning was, you do not want a king. You will live to regret it. And some of the things a king will do, he told them, is he's going to tax you unfairly. He's going to make you serve him. And he's going to make your men be in his army. So those are just some of the things the kings will do. But the people didn't care. They said, we don't care. We want a king. They just kept on with that. So, meanwhile, I'm going to introduce another character. And this character is Saul. He's in the middle of the picture. And he's from the tribe of Benjamin. And his dad's name is Kish. Well, Kish owned a lot of donkeys. One day, a bunch of them ran off. So he asked his son, Saul, and Saul's servant boy to go looking for them. So they did. They went looking high and low. They looked all over the countryside without finding them. And Saul began to worry that his dad was going to get very angry with him. And then the servant boy remembered that there was a prophet named Samuel who maybe could help because he was known for praying and giving words of wisdom, and maybe he would know. So they went to look for Samuel in the next town. And on the way, actually, Samuel was looking for Saul. Now imagine that. They both have this God-ordained meeting. And Samuel said, I'd like you to come and eat with me. So they go and eat and have a nice dinner, and they talk into the night. And then finally Samuel tells him that he is going to be king. So Samuel is anointed with oil, almost right on the spot. And then after that, Samuel wants to introduce this new king who's been chosen by God to Israel. So he calls all the people of Israel together. And he kind of has this countdown or elimination type thing. So the people of Israel are there. That means many, many of the tribes, probably all of them, I'm imagining. And he calls out the tribe of Benjamin. They come forward. Then from the tribe of Benjamin, he calls out the clan of Martri. And then from that clan, he calls out Kish's family. Remember, Kish is the father of Saul. But where is Saul? When he asks Saul to come out, we don't know where he is. And everybody's looking all around. Where is he? Where's this king? And Samuel was hiding, or not, Samuel was not hiding. Saul was hiding. But Samuel prayed again to the Lord, and the Lord told him that he was hiding behind some baggage. People got their king, and they said, "Long live the king." And that is our story, but I want to connect it to Christ. So God intended for a heavenly king to rule over all of Israel. But as we know, the Israelites didn't put their trust in God, and they wanted a king. So God gave them a king. And as we learn from today's story, God chose Saul to be the king. He gave them what they wanted, but really it wasn't what they needed. So I'm glad that today in our life, we have Jesus Christ as our king. And was God's plan even from back then, was to eventually send Jesus into the world to be the king. And he is our king. So I'll end us in prayer, and then that will be it for today. Father, Lord, I just praise you for this time. I praise you, Lord, that you give us these lessons about what happened in the past to your people. And let it be lessons to us that sometimes the things that we think we want aren't necessarily the things we need. I pray, Lord, that we would ask for those things that you want us to have, and those things you want in our lives. And I know you want each and every one of us to have Jesus in our lives and to be walking by faith in you. I pray that for all our kids, and I pray that for myself. In Jesus' precious name, amen.